people under the influence of cults is similar to what we have observed in addicts. Typical behavior for both includes draining bank accounts, neglecting children, destroying relationships with family, and losing interest in anything except the drug or the cult. It's a scary quote. Hi, Sean. It's a scary quote stated by a man who had a lot of problems with a cult or so-called cult in America by the name of Scientology. Members of Scientology are well-known personality like Tom Cruise and John Travolta, just name a few. Now allow me, before I start the session today, to give you a very important disclaimer. First of all, I would like to define cult. And cult has been said, the word cult can be broadly defined as formal religious veneration, a system of religious beliefs, and is a body of adherents. A religion regarded as unorthodox or spurious. Great devotion to a person or idea, as well as persons united by devotion or allegiance to an artistic or intellectual movement or figure. What I want to say today, that this session is actually quite scary. However, this session here today is not about an individual cult or anything else. Even though I might have some mentioned already. It is not about religion or politics. It is about the characteristics of cults and how NLP differs from these. Please leave now if this is not in sync with your intentions. And if anyone in this session starts to discuss politics or religion or individuals, this person will be banned from this broadcast. Alright, I hope I have your agreement. Sean, thank you for being here already. It is an important disclaimer that I need to make right now. But hey, let's get started in this beautiful session on really asking yourself, is NLP a cult? So let's get started with our beautiful intro music. I would like to check with you guys. Okay. I've just clicked something here and I would like to know, can you actually hear me on this live screen? So Sean, if you are there, please let me know if you can hear me. Because otherwise I don't know what I've done wrong right now. Najwa? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Okay, I had to check this right now, okay? Good evening, everybody. Let's welcome you all to this live feed of Facebook Live Tuesday evening. Let's talk NLP on a very interesting topic today, which is called, is NLP related actually to a cult? So how did I get about this session today? Well, it's my intention. Yes, thanks Nashwa. It is my intention today to share with you some of the research I've done through the whole day, basically about cult movements. And I came about this discussion because someone in my last NLP training, we were starting to discuss about cult movements. And I remembered along that line, that there is a discussion ongoing also in the internet if NLP is related to cult. So I want to clarify this myth today, but of course you heard my disclaimer before. And of course you got to disclaim me. I'm not sure if that's true, if I can say it like this, but hey, as an NLP trainer, I'm a certified NLP trainer. My name is Andreas Dorn, and of course, naturally, I am biased. Along that session, hey, feel free to ask your questions, participate, because I do know it is a hot topic. It is an interesting topic not many people know about. Give us some hearts as you have started doing already anyway. I love it. Thank you very much. Click like, okay? Click like, click like, click like, click, 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 click. And if you are new to this session, I welcome you. Sean, old man, good man, friend. You are here. Nutshwer is here. I wonder who else is here. Please introduce yourself so that I do know whom do I have to talk to and who I can ask for more input, of course. It's always, hey, Zare, Sue, good to see you. Yay! So F5, hello, hello, hello. And it's an interesting topic, of course. And again, of course, I have to say, if you are stuck somewhere, just allow that video to play in the background. Don't talk, don't let it play loud if you're in a restaurant. Only if you're sitting with friends and you want to invite other visitors to this restaurant. If you're driving a car, allow that video to run in the background only. It would be lovely, of course, but don't get distracted from traffic. If you're at work, happy working. Have a break. Listen to what I'm saying here right now. It's an exciting topic. It's an interesting topic. It's a serious topic. It's a very, very important topic. So, yay. And sharing is caring. Share this video if you like what you're hearing. Invite your friends to this session, as Sean here was doing already so beautiful, because the more people watch this video, the nicer it is for me, of course. Even so, of course, I appreciate that you are here. I hope you're all cool. Are we all cool on that? Are we set and ready for a session like this? So we can start it directly. Yay, let's get started. Okay, so I would like to talk to you about a guy by the name Robert J. Lifton, who once taught at Harvard Medical School, wrote a paper titled Cult Formation in the 1980s, 80s, and he identified three principles that make up a cult. So let's talk about this one for a while, because hey, we're having a meeting, so all nutritionists, we're listening to you. Oh, hello there. Okay, good. Okay, if Sue allows you to listen in, just type your name in the comment box. Whoa, I'm so excited now and anxious, all right? Let's get started on this topic overall. On what makes up a cult overall. First of all, a cult is often signified and led by a charismatic leader, a leader who is increasingly becoming the object of worshipping. So people, and it's a living leader, of course, is a person who is in the actual environment and starts to attract people, and he becomes the actual object of worship to his followers. Along that line, of course, there's a process, and I'm talking more about it later, a process. Hey, Alex, good. Okay, we'll be multitasking. Okay, stay focused on what you're doing. Allow me to be in the background of whatever you're doing right now. Cool that you are here as well. I really, really, really appreciate it. Another principle, so that first of all, that charismatic leader who has no accountability whatsoever and becomes the single most defining authority in this overall group setting. And this overall setting, once this person has attracted more people to the group, it's a strong authority. There's a process of indoctrination. I have to move my cup a little bit, otherwise I might just accidentally drop it. A process of ongoing indoctrination. Talking a little bit more about this one as well afterwards. Or deep education. Some people call it brainwashing going on. So that they're excluding the members of a cult away from their personal relationships, oftentimes no more contact to the outside world, and the social norm in the group becomes the defining characteristic of the group. Everything outside of the group is seen as false or wrong. It is us versus them overall. Along that line, a third characteristic then is that there's an economic, sexual, or other exploitation of group members by the leader and the ruling members, because after the leader has been established, the first members of a cult might become part of the elite, and they are recruiting more members, and they become kind of the victims, slaves sometimes. I think recently, 2 or 3 days ago, I read about a cult in Brazil where the members actually said they are willing sex slave and working slaves overall. Along that line, if you continue working on it, talking about joining a cult, so what is going on when people join a cult? And has research that was conducted a while ago that about 2/3 of the members of a cult have been recruited by a friend, a family member, or a co-worker, someone they trusted. And that is amazing, because hey, if we are already trusting somebody, be it a friend, a family member, or a co-worker, we are trusting these people. Our guards, our inner guards are down, and it's much easier to get influenced. A person might be a little bit at a vulnerable state at that point of time, has experienced huge traumatic situation overall, and is vulnerable, is looking for belonging, and then comes a good friend, comes a family member, comes a colleague, and invites this vulnerable person to a group meeting, and then the process of indoctrination starts happening, and then it's becoming entangled in this overall cult environment. 93% of cult members have been influenced, invited by family members, friends, or workers overall. And that is an important point overall, again, because the cult influences or manipulates you at a very, very deep unconscious level, and you are not aware of that it's actually happening at that point of time at a deep psychological level. It is manipulation, and along that line, of course, some of you might know this person or this experiment. Have you ever heard, and let me know in the comment section if you heard this section before, if you have ever heard about the Milgram experiment. Milgram experiment somewhat in 1963. And it was an experiment where a researcher set up experiment, of course, which wouldn't be allowed anymore. An experimenter was basically forcing through authority and persuasion and coherence, more or less, to subjects were exposed to electrical shocks. Now, there was, of course, blade only overall, but he was checking on how obedience can be achieved amongst members in this trial overall, in this research, that people who are in this research, how they are willingly increased the electrical power, even though they heard people screaming on the other side, which was only researchers playing it out. And they were actually going way beyond the permitted or possible electrical power. So it could have killed a person if it would have been a real experiment. And many people in that experiment followed through and really increased the power. That was a study done by Milgram in 1963, one of the most important studies ever done on social compliance overall. Let me talk a little bit more about this lady here. And I was mentioning earlier, yes, okay. Let me rewrite that. Let me go back to Janja now. Dr. Janja, she's a researcher, author, educator specializing in cults, extremist groups with a particular focus on charismatic relationships, political and other social movements, ideology, as well as social control and issues with gender and sexuality. And you can find more research in these two links that you can see in the bottom of this graphic here right now. So feel free to research on this one as well. And it's an important thing that I want to share with you along that line. First of all, members Remember, I was saying 93% of members of a cult get invited by a family member, a relative, which is a family member, a good friend, or a colleague. And then the indoctrination happens. We are, or they are in the group. They're mimicking social behavior. And we are mimicking people. As you know from NLP, it's a normal, natural thing to wanting to be in a group. But then the coercive persuasion, they're exhibiting shame and guilt and extreme fear on the members that have joined the group. Fear, for example, saying, hey, if you are staying in this cult movement right now, you will be safe. The world is going down. The world is nearing an end. If you're staying with us, you're going to survive the next catastrophe. So members might submit to that constant ongoing indoctrination because of that feeling they want to belong to this overall group and attain promised rewards ultimately. Critical thinking is discouraged, is even punished. If you as a cult member start to think critically, you will get punished. You get isolated by cult members. So it is hard to resist when you are starting to model other people and start to believe and have the faith in your charismatic leader, and your critical barriers shrink down and down and down overall. So ultimately, of course, the cult attempts to avoid members of the cult having external contact to other people. They're trying to prevent cult members to speak to members of the public, to other family members, because then what could happen is that they are starting to get new ideas or get back to normal life, so to speak. And that's the challenging part. We want to be true as individuals. We always want to be true in our own opinions. Sean, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you are promoting it so much. It's easier if you put this little tag to them. Otherwise, I'm not sure if they really see that they have been tagged. And please feel free also to ask your own question along that line. But thanks, I totally appreciate your engagement. It's absolutely awesomely wonderful. Yay, the session is namely about you. Now, what happens, of course, if somebody is longer in a cult, the longer we are exposed to something, the less, or even if we become aware that there's a possibility of manipulation, of deceit going on, we are becoming ashamed of admitting something went wrong. We might just stay out of compliance. And also, of course, if we are leaving the cult, what will happen is that we are going to be alone again, and we don't know if somebody else will like us again, if our friends will still accept us, and the cult can increase. Hey Nixon, good to see you here. And the cult will form extreme external pressure if you are outside of the cult, trying to free yourself from the cult movement along that line, trying to threaten you so you are coming back into this cult environment. So they're trying to get you to the direct control over your social behavior. Now the cult leader, of course, needs to expand. It's not that cult members always will stay. So there's a constant ongoing journey, of course, as well. People are able to leave. But the cult leader needs to expand his network, and of course needs to generate money from the members overall. So there are concerted efforts done constantly to influence and manipulate and control lies at the core of cultic groups, programs, indoctrination, and even relationships. So many members, former members and supporters of cult are not fully aware to the extent they're exposed to this one ongoingly, and they're becoming willing participants in that overall cult movements. So if you go back at a later stage, feel free to check this link here out. I don't want to read all that I have identified from that web link. It's a really interesting read up. Check it out because it's interesting. Now I would like to talk a little bit because, hey, the session, of course, goes along to NLP. How does NLP overall differentiate itself from cults? Let's talk about NLP. Yes, it's a form of movement, it's a form of indoctrination, it's a form of, well, let's talk about it. Or we just talked about it, okay, of course, already, Nixon. So what is NLP? Well, some people say that NLP is a cult as well. Wow, do we have charismatic leaders in the field? I would love to be charismatic. And some leaders in the field of NLP might be charismatic. But looking around everywhere across the world, I saw leaders in NLP that I wouldn't describe as charismatic, but that I would describe as giving, as sharing knowledge, ideas, information. It is not a cult movement. Some leaders in the NLP might be charismatic, have themselves trained up to be charismatic, of course, and wonderful people, but not to the extent. Well, but if you want to say Anthony Robbins is definitely charismatic already through body size, but it's definitely, I wouldn't describe him as a cult leader overall, because he's not isolating his audiences over a longer period of time than to ultimately become devotees to him and giving their money, emptying their bank account. So while a leader in NLP might be charismatic, it has nothing to do with overall, I have to check your comment right now, Sean, with overall cult leadership. Is NLP manipulative? Why, if you think about everything is manipulation. If I'm moving a pen from one side to the other side, of course it's manipulation. Manipulation is everything. We all have been manipulated from the beginning of time. Since we are born, are we getting manipulated? But it's always, you can define manipulation as well as increasing, as influence, persuasion. We all get influenced constantly. Ongoing basis, otherwise you wouldn't believe anything. You wouldn't buy a laptop, you don't even know if the thoughts you're holding in your mind right now are your own thoughts. So influence is always happening on a constant basis. Behind manipulation is always the intent, and the intent of a cult ultimately is negative. It's positive for the leader, but negative for the cult members. While I would strongly subscribe to the notion that, at least in my NLP, it's about the participants, helping them, manipulating them from a negative state into a positive state, from unhappy to happy, from being depressed maybe to be more positive in their life. If that is manipulation, I can subscribe to it. But it's about them, my participants, or those who I do know, working with me towards something that they want to achieve. It's a process of mutual agreement. I can't force somebody to change. I can't force somebody to open the brain, I'm always saying, and make the changes in the neurology. So to me, cult movement is forcing, coercing, brainwashing people. In an NLP training, it's a process mutually working together to help that person make the changes to achieve their desired outcome. NLP, while cult oftentimes has an us versus them movement. You are in the cult, you are in the group, you are belonging to us, somebody else is against us. So we got to fight against the other people overall. Now that is an important differentiation, because in NLP, hey, you can leave. You are in my Facebook groups, you can always leave, of course. NLP, you can always say, I'm destroying my certificate, I don't believe in NLP. You are free to leave. In a cult, by nature of a cult, people try to pull you in. It's an us versus them. You are on our side, the rest is bad. The world is against us. The world wants to destroy us overall, and that's a cult movement. So in NLP, there is no us versus them. It is working together to get something. And cult members, as I mentioned, I think earlier, they're saying, yes, we need to bring in new members to continue the exploitation, to grow the cult. Well, in NLP, of course, hey, I'm happy if you are referring participants to me. It's my business overall as well. But it's not about becoming a member overall to exploit those people. So yeah, it's not a cult movement. We are not recruiting. It's not multi-level marketing per se. So if you want to join our training, if you want to join somebody else, absolutely okay. we are excluding our NLP practitioners or NLPers? Do they try to avoid members, participants, certified practitioners to talk to anybody else outside of NLP? Do we isolate them? You are only allowed from now on to talk to anybody else who is not NLP certified? Of course not. Of course not. It's important that you're interacting with somebody else outside the world, of course, you know. Will people departing from their money in cult members, cult leaders trying to get the money from his members or her members overall. However, in NLP, you can sign up, of course, as a training course. Ultimately, it means there is some money involved, exchange for a training, for a certification, but it's not a forced environment overall where you have to say that. So, some people, now it's becoming interesting to me, but really, I gotta put up these guys here, you know. And I have no idea really why people say that. People say NLP is a cult because it's actually not working. It's pseudoscience. It is not a proven science. It's not working overall. When I described the characteristics of a cult, it didn't say anything about a cult is us versus them, because the belief of a cult is not working, it's not proven. Yeah, of course a cult is not proven. NLP is proven or non-proven, it doesn't really matter. Nobody would say, hey, NLP is a cult because it's pseudoscience. It's not like that. It doesn't having a charismatic leader. It's not only one leader and everybody else is admiring or adhering to this person. No, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of trainers of NLP like me across the world who are in friendly cooperation, competition, working against each other, with each other. It doesn't really matter. While a cult has only one leader at top who wants to get your money, so to speak, of course, you know. So I have no idea why do some people say it's like that. So is NLP manipulative? I mentioned already a couple of things. So let me just go to this one, you know. So some people were saying, let me just go to this one now, about NLP. I was finding one study from the 1980s where somebody was saying that NLP doesn't work. 1987, NLP doesn't work because it might be just a fad and it's not proven and the tests are not working over NLP being exposed to scientific research. It would not work. Well, 1980s might be possible that people rejected NLP, but in the 1990s more and more research actually came up stating that NLP is effective and science is starting to catch up with NLP. For example, NLP terminology alert, dissociative strategies, changing beliefs, removing phobias, all that stuff that NLP is practicing for 50 years or so is starting to infiltrate itself into the science of psychology as well. So psychologists use NLP tools more. What NLP also says, or at least what we are saying in my NLP training, is imagine for a moment, hey, you would learn NLP and you are sitting on a pile of garbage, and the garbage is in your mind. Thoughts, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, negative emotions, bad programs running in your mind. From the beginning of time, a whole of garbage is piled up in our mind. And so many people wonder how can they achieve their outcome. And imagine NLP, to me, in my world, gives people the genie they need to have overall to remove the garbage and then ultimately be able to create their life in a manner that they actually can achieve their life, make their dreams come true, remove the phobia, get over anxiety, get over negative emotions, reframe limitations into opportunities. If NLP allows you to do this, and the genie allows you to remove the garbage that's stuck in your mind, wonderful, welcome. NLP is a wonderful that allows you to do this, and then you can create your life. Is one of our tech life. NLP works on the power of beliefs, helps you to get rid of limiting beliefs. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I have a problem getting this done. It's never working. I can't create a wonderful relationship. Limiting beliefs. NLP purposefully works on those limiting beliefs. It is not installing limiting beliefs like many cults might do it. No, its objective of NLP is to expand your mindset, get new insights, get better, get greater insights, more opportunities, more choices in your life. That's NLP to me here in Asia Mind Dynamics. NLP is also about, and that's a scary part of NLP. The word programming is really not the best word overall. When it was created in 1975, named as NLP, the programming part came up because, at that point of time, computers came up, and NLP thought like, the mind, the brain is just like a computer, and we can do Control-Alt-Delete on our laptop to then recreate programs, undo installed negative programs in our mind, and install new programs so we are becoming more empowered. Now that is reprogramming part, and some people freak out by the word reprogramming, neuro-linguistic programming. It can be scary, the word alone, but it's just a negative, wrong metaphor. It's just really about being able to creating your life. So the other definition that could be found when you look at NLP, it is that, I not want to show you this one yet, It's about learning to become a better leader, learning to become a better father, a better relationship, a better mother, educate your children differently. It's about helping yourself recreate yourself in your own life. It's about you eliminating limitations within yourself. It's about understanding your focus, what you're focusing on right now, and shifting the focus to maybe something more positive. It is about totally empowering yourself. That's NLP to us here. NLP is totally, in our world, in Asia Mind Dynamics, it is about you as a participant. We work with you. It has nothing to do with cult movements. NLP is about working together with somebody to help them make the changes they need to do in order to become who they really deserve to become. Getting a better awareness, creating better outcomes about themselves. So that is really about us. It's how we are training NLP. If we are saying along that line, NLP is a cult. Anything can be a cult. If you're thinking about multi-level marketing companies, it could be a cult. You could define it as a cult if you choose to. You could define football, soccer clubs as a cult movement. Yay, it's us versus them, the opposite field, the opposite team. Could be also a cult movement, like if you define it like this, of course, in a certain level, there might be certain characteristics, certain indicators. But overall, what I want to say, to me, I defined cult earlier. What is a cult? I don't see NLP as a cult. I absolutely reject the idea. I hope people become alert about the challenge of a cult that they impose onto the individual, releasing their money or getting rid of their money. Basically, as the very first definition was saying initially, that that a cult is like an addict. Typical behavior includes draining bank accounts, neglecting children, destroying relations with family, and losing interest in anything except drug or cult. This poor guy was, I think, in Scientology. He was sued by them because he was releasing lots of secrets into the public, helping people to become alert about this, about Scientology. He was sued overall. He even spent time in prison, so he was really chased down in order to defend his opinion. That happens overall, okay? So it's a scary environment if you are in a cult movement, most likely. Is NLP a cult? I hope I could tell you, or I hope I could shed some light on the idea that NLP is not a cult. NLP is empowering. It is about your focus, about your creating your life. So that is what I want to share with you today overall. Though, if you like that video, if you like that session overall, I liked it. Please feel free to like and share this video. Share it to your friends. Share it on your timeline. Share it onto YouTube if you want to. It would be lovely if more people become alert on this one. Hey man, yay, now you're coming in, huh, Sadria? Just when I'm nearing the end overall, but hey, you are here. That's the most important part. I'm inviting you to listen to the whole session overall. Share it with your friends. It's lovely that you are here, that you're all here overall. All along that line, of course, I got to share with you. Please feel free to join our free training. You can find it in this web link here right now. It would be lovely if you join our NLP Master Academy in Facebook. That is our website. You can see how overall it's in Facebook as well. It's a great website coming in there. It's a great group. Join this group in order to share knowledge, share ideas, learn more about NLP. Would be lovely if you would join us. I would say for now, I say bye-bye to you. Feel free again to share this video. You are awesome, guys. Thank you so very much. And I see you next week for another session on the Let's Talk NLP. On another great episode and whatever topic we are going to talk about. Until then, bye-bye. And I see you when I see you.